I am going to show you an example of an inference. I am going to show you how I make inferences while I read. So this is something that we read from the one and only Ivan on Monday, but I'm going to read it like this is the first time I've read it. So this chapter is called The Promise. My domain gleams with moonlight when I awake to the sound of Stella's calls. So I'm going to stop here for a second. And I'm going to try and make an inference of why I think Stella is calling. If I go back to the last chapter, I remember that it was about worry. The chapter was called Worry. And we read about how Stella wasn't feeling well, how Julia was worried about Stella. So now I'm already thinking, maybe it's something bad. Maybe Stella's calling because she's not feeling good anymore. I'm going to go back to the same section and go back to the sentence and read it again. My domain gleams with moonlight. Okay, so that tells me it's nighttime. So it's dark. Usually, maybe if you want to talk to your friends, you don't really call them during the night. You call them during the day. And if I go further, it says, when I awake. So that does mean that Ivan was asleep. So a lot of things right now, moonlight, awake, the sound of Stella's calls. Those are all evidence from this chapter that something might be wrong. And then I can even use evidence from previous chapters, from things I've already read, which I know is that Stella's not feeling well. So when I read on, I do find out that something was wrong with Stella, that she was sick, and that she asked Ivan to make a promise. So when you're reading, stop and think about what you read before, what you're reading right now, if you need to read the sentence again, and use things that you already know to make guesses about what might happen. Remember how I made a guess about moonlight and Ivan being awake? Those are things that I know in my own life, that if I wake up and it's moonlight, it's dark, and if someone's calling me on the phone in the middle of the night, that's not great. So we can make inferences based on things we read in the text and then things that we even already know to help us make good guesses about what's going to come next.